Welcome back. Grand Rapids personal injury lawyer Tom Sinas, our sponsor. When he last appeared on our show, we spent the time talking about bicyclists and what to do if they're injured in a crash with a motor vehicle. And we're going to stick with that theme today, but with a focus on motorcycles and how they're impacted by Michigan auto no-fault laws. Now, I understand this is a complicated topic, so today we're going to focus on scenarios where someone is injured, as your firm has decades of experience in helping these individuals. So, okay, let's dive right into it. When can an injured motorcyclist receive auto no-fault benefits?
Excellent question, and we talked about this concept for bicyclists, and the rule here is the same for everyone. A victim is entitled to receive auto no-fault benefits if they're involved in an incident with a motor vehicle. A motor vehicle most commonly is a car, an automobile. A motorcycle, or as we talked about last time, a bicycle, is not a motor vehicle, but you only need one motor vehicle. So what does that mean for motorcyclists? If they're involved in an incident with a car, they are entitled to receive auto no-fault benefits. If they're involved in an incident with another motorcycle, or they run their motorcycle off the road, for example, no auto no-fault benefits. But if they're involved in an incident with a car, and by the way, the car does not have to strike them, but if they're involved in an incident with a car and they're injured, they're entitled to receive auto no-fault benefits. That's the most important concept, and it applies to pedestrians, motorcyclists, and bicyclists, but I think it's easy for motorcyclists like others to forget this because they think, well, I was injured on my motorcycle and I don't have an auto no-fault policy on my motorcycle, so I must not be able to receive auto no-fault benefits. That's not correct. Involvement with a motor vehicle entitles them to no-fault benefits.
Okay, now let's talk about, can motorcyclists be disqualified from receiving benefits? And then also, how do you avoid that if that should happen?
Great question. So I just said motorcyclists are not required to carry auto no-fault benefits on their motorcycle. That's true because the motorcycle, as I mentioned earlier, is not a motor vehicle. However, motorcyclists are required to obtain basic minimum insurance on their motorcycle, and one of those is liability insurance. Every motorcyclist has to have liability insurance on their motorcycle. If they do not, and they are involved in an incident with a car, a motor vehicle, that is the most common way that a motorcyclist would be disqualified from no-fault benefits. So remember, we said if they're involved in an incident with a motor vehicle, they're entitled to benefits, but if they don't have that motorcycle liability insurance, that is unfortunately the most common way where they can be disqualified. So it's not worth it to skimp out on that coverage.
Okay, now we had previously discussed the rules for motor vehicles and who pays which benefits after a crash. What are the rules about that scenario regarding motorcycles?
Excellent question, and the most common area of confusion here. We talked before that if you and I are involved in a car crash, you're in your car, I'm in my car, we're both hurt, we're going to go to our own insurance companies for no-fault benefits. That rule does not apply in motorcycle cases. Most commonly, and almost all the time, the motorcyclist receives their no-fault benefit from the involved motor vehicle. What does that mean? Let's say we're involved in a crash, you're on a motorcycle, I'm in my car, you're hurt. You're going to collect your no-fault benefits from my auto insurance policy. And that's different than if you were in your car, right? And this is where motorcyclists can get a little confused and where a lot of people get confused. But it's not always this case, but most commonly, upwards of 90%, motorcyclists are going to draw their benefits from the involved motor vehicle first.
And then, okay, does your firm offer free consultation? Because as we're talking about this, we talk about how confusing it is, because it is different from a car-to-car collision when you talk about motorcycles involved in crashes, and people might be scared or might have a lot of questions. Can they call you guys?
Yes, they can call us. We offer free consultations for this all the time. We try to be as available as much as 24/7 as we can. For this reason, this stuff is confusing, it's not intuitive, and usually when people need to know this, they're worried about the most serious thing that's ever happened to them, and they're trying to get oriented in this space that they've never been involved in before. So that's why we're here. We're here to help answer questions, and we're here to tell people if it's something we can help them with. There's no charge. So as we talked about with Bicyclist, my view is take advantage of the service, see if it's something that you think might help you and that if a law firm like us might be able to help. And if so, take it from there. But don't be shy about calling, because that is when I think people can not take full advantage of their legal rights. And if they've been seriously hurt, that's not something that a risk I think is worth taking.
And obviously we're entering into the warm season where we're seeing more motorcyclists on the road and a lot of new motorcyclists on the road. Is this typically the time of year where your firm starts to handle a lot of these collisions? Yeah,
I mean, we handle motorcycle cases throughout the year, but you're correct. This is the time of year where you're seeing not only new motorcyclists, but people getting their motorcycles out after not driving them for the winter. And I think motorists, you know, we're not used to seeing motorcycles for months, and then all of a sudden they're there, and they certainly have a legal right to be there, but it's that unfamiliarity that we forget about over the winter that I think can cause a lot of crashes that we do unfortunately see at this time of year.
All right, Tom, thanks once again for your your knowledge of this subject, and thanks for stopping by 8West.
Thank you for having me.
And this segment is sponsored by Sinas Dramus Law Firm. We'll be right back with more 8West. Don't go away.